good.
Come on, bienvenue. That was excellent. Excellent. welcome one and all to Modern Sales Meltdown with David Chernick and myself, Gareth Max. Today we're talking about how you can make your Excel work the same way as a CRM. Obviously, it's nowhere near
the same way. Hang on one sec. I never said the same way.
Similarly, or at least
like. I use the word like.
Like, okay, like.
But the thing is, most people don't use CRM properly. Maybe when that I see anyway, when they buy it, they barely scratch the surface of CRM.
Oh yeah, right? Of course. Most people use it just as a way to list their client base and the proposition, but they don't ever use it. Well, don't ever. Most of them don't use it to forage and use it to turn the data around so they can actually find who they should be going after.
Yeah.
Talk to me about formatting Excel like a CRM, David.
Yeah. So I mean, look, firstly, I'm an advocate for CRM software. Yeah, there's some great packages around, and it is pretty easy to use once you get your head around it, and if you commit to it. And you dedicate some time to it, and you get the help that you need to set it up correctly, and you customize the fields and whatnot. All right. So that said, for the majority of small businesses who are using it, that I see a lot of small businesses, they buy it, they don't use it. They buy it, they install some data. It becomes tiring for them to use it because they're not using it all day long. It is not their dashboard. They haven't customized the fields. They haven't worked out what their pipelines. They don't actually have a sales process, and they're using CRM to make themselves have a sales process. They're learning as they go, right? It's hard. So people dump it, right?
Right.
Or they put it off, right? And if they're putting it off, what are they using? Where are people putting the data? They're putting it in all sorts of places, but you should put it in a spreadsheet. Do yourselves a favor, instead of writing it down on just another Word document, a list of your prospects, or in the back of your notepad, a list of your current deals that you're trying to work on, or walking around with like the pile of business cards of people you're dealing with at the moment with notes scrawled on them, or using email filters, right? Do yourselves a favor, write a list of your qualified opportunities, okay? And the name of the organization on one column. Second column, the name of the person that you are dealing with there or want to be dealing with there. Column 2, their phone number, mobile preferably, right? Next column, email address, right? This is part of your CRM. This is your contact list, all right? It is already a duplicate because you have these numbers probably in your phone book. Right, but this is to help you drive business through your pipeline, so you know what you're supposed to be closing and you do close it. You know what you're supposed to be qualifying and you do qualify it. Yeah, you know the ones you're supposed to be following up to close, and it's in there, right? Okay, so that's your contact list. Next column, qualification criteria. You've got 3, just little boxes. Those 3 qualification criteria: estimated order date, yeah, if they were going to buy it, or when would that be? Estimated order value, if they were going to buy it, how much would it be for? And what are they buying? Just the main heading as to the type of product or service that they are buying. Okay, those 3 columns, they're only going to be little narrow ones, right? And they should have 2 of them are just for dates, plain dates. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't guess any of these. Check with the person you're dealing with. If you were to buy it, when would that be? Put it in there. And you should be at this point driven to fill in the empty boxes, whether it's a contact data, whether it's a qualification answer. You look at your spreadsheet, you see the empty boxes. Your job is to fill those boxes. Once they're all filled, of course, you have a list of qualified sales opportunities, stuff that you can convert into actual paying clients. Okay. Beyond that, we want to know about activities. Okay. So another column is next contact date. Yeah. And it's important to put it in a date format, like with your estimated order date. It's good to put it as a date format because then you can sort everything. Yeah, you can sort your whole list in reverse order of who do I need to speak to today in order to take them to the next stage in their pipeline. Okay. Now there's other fields as well. You know, one field that I like to have in all of mine is a notes field. This is a wider column, and in that notes field, I'm literally only writing down stuff that they have said. I write it in reverse chronological order. I start each line with the date that I spoke to them. Here's another date. Yeah, the date I spoke to them, followed by a space, followed by the name of the person I spoke to. If it was different to the one in the column, it could be the call answerer. You know, we talked about what some people call the gatekeeper before. I want to write down that name. Yeah, followed by colon and then exactly what it is they said. He's on holiday this week, right? Write that down. He's on holiday this week. When you call back the next week, Joe was on holiday last week. You know, you're already going to start chiming with the person you spoke to. Yeah, just little notes like that in their words, word for word. That is your CRM. Ta-da!
That's amazing. But what you're saying is a tiny bit of preparation means that you'll be able to make sense of this sucker later on down the line.
There are so many good things that can come from this, right? Just seeing the list of your potential current opportunities in front of you on a spreadsheet with spaces for you to put dates in takes a huge weight off your mind. I've seen the relief just so many times of people who've done this exercise. They're just lifting it all out. It's like, it's all, you know, and in doing so, quite often they'll find a deal to close there and then. Yeah, just go through your old pads, your pieces of paper. You got your thoughts, your most recent emails. Just write the list down. Yeah, once it's down, honestly, the feeling of relief you'll have just to be able to see it is incredible. It gives you so many other benefits as well. You get to see how much money you are addressing. Yeah, the potential you're addressing, because you can add up all of those estimated order values if they were all to come through on those specific dates. How much money we're going to be bringing in. You can then from that, of course, work out your conversion rate. You'll be able to see within a couple of months, probably, once you've started closing some of this thing, oh, my conversion rate is 1 in 3, 1 in 5, 1 in 10. You know, you'll know how to make an improvement there.
Yes, and you'll also, if you're focused, will be able to work out how many touches you need before you're actually getting a conversion.
Yes. And you'll see probably that it'll be fewer touches than you were doing before, because now you'll know that, well, one of those touches, I was never bothering to ask them about the estimated order date before, because I didn't do that because I didn't have sight of it. Things dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. All I was doing was chasing. Oh,
yeah, most salesmen I've ever come across seem to have this kind of fantasy list of people that they're trying to get a hold of. There's much shorter list of people they're actually talking to, and then there's some people that sit in between, and often those are lost because they don't necessarily have sight of where they are in the process with them. This will also sharpen all that into sharp relief.
It's a great discipline to do. It means you've got a place to put your new introductions and leads and referrals in that will then drive your activity to qualify them and start pushing them along your sales pipeline. Yeah, if you wanted, you can always enhance this spreadsheet. You can add another column for quoted date, the date that you sent them your proposal or your quote. Yeah. For most cases, if you haven't spoken to somebody within 2 days after sending them a quote to see if you can close it, you know, they're probably losing interest already. So yeah, again, you can start sorting these. Who have I sent quotes out to in the last couple of days, weeks, months, years? You know,
I
you
don't know.
work.
I don't think you can necessarily draw a rule from this, but I tend to find that the larger the amount that you're quoting for, the more likely they are looking for that similar kind of quote from a number of other locations, and therefore, if you're sending out, I mean, back in the day when I was quoting for large amounts of Cisco gear and software and support and all the rest of it, and we were talking hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of quote, I knew full well they were pushing us up against another gold partner who was doing a similar sort of thing. And what they wanted to see was the differences, not the similarities. They want to know where the difference is going to be. And if you don't get back to them within a couple of days, they're putting their focus on somebody else who's saying, "Oh yes, and we'll throw in a watch as well." You know, it's that sort of thing.
You're absolutely right. There's so many good things that's come from it. I mean, I've literally just submitted a quote for 3,570 per month for a whole bunch of obviously sales stuff. And you know, the meeting about it, I know at that client is today. Okay, so I know when the partners in this firm are going to be talking about it and hopefully making a decision. I know when their estimated order date is, because I also know when their preferred start date is, which is in May. Okay, so would I have invested the time? I mean, it's a very short proposal and quote. People that know me know that, you know, I like it short. You know, I get to the point quick. I'm good at that kind of thing. However, it's still an investment of my time. You know, I still had to think about it. I still had to take my notes from conversations that we'd had, put them into a template. When I write a quote for a piece of business that where I really want that particular client, and this is one of them, I'll tailor that proposal to suit that client. Yeah, I will mimic some of their branding so they feel like they are reading one of their own documents. We all have a show. We have discussed in the past how to write a killer proposal, killer quote. So I've done, you know, a lot of that. For me to be invested in that, both time-wise and, you know, emotionally become attached to it, I needed to have qualified them. Yeah. So I have in my CRM those boxes filled. Is it a guarantee that it's going to come in? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But without those key pieces of data, which is what CRM gives you, which you don't need CRM to have, as I've just described, you can put it on a spreadsheet.
To do this, you don't. What CRM for me is really good for integrating multiple different actions as a result of one. It's semi-automation, not the full stuff.
They're all building in automation and AI and all of that stuff. So of course, knock yourselves out. But the priority is the stuff that I have just said. Absolutely.
Okay, so I think we've got a comment. Wow, that's very cool. Kay Reeves says, great topic. I love Excel. Great idea to use it with CRM. I have to go, but I'll watch the replay later. Thank you so much, Kay. That's very kind.
Cool. If anybody wants any of this, if you want a template Excel spreadsheet, with pleasure, I'll send it to you. Just send us a DM or an email or contact me via Gareth or come direct to me. I'll send you a template.
Yeah. So remember you guys, it's preparation prevents piss poor performance. I think one of my sales managers once said that to me, but it's so true. If you prepare the spreadsheet so you know what you're doing and what you're putting in it, it shouldn't become a chore because you do it as you get the lead, as you get the prospect. You're already banging it in there. And then you can be your own sales manager because a week later you can say, so, all right, you've made that contact. You followed them up. What are you going to do next? To be able to include them in any kind of forecast for yourself, they need to have got beyond the point of being just a vapor prospect. They need to have turned into an actual possibility. And to get to that point, you're going to have to follow them up because the power in any kind of sales is in the follow-up, right?
The fortune is in the follow-up, we say.
The fortune's in the follow-up. There you go. All right. Well, look, I'll tell you what, David, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, so you're clambering around with CRM. It's hard, it's bulky, It's probably more than what you need.
Way more.
Yeah. Stop. Open up a spreadsheet. You'll feel better already when you see a list of your prospects in one place.
Absolutely.
Add your qualification criteria as columns. Add your follow-up date as a column. Add some numbers in there and some dates. If you don't know exactly what to put in there, re-listen to this show or message me, and we'll send you a template, and then your life will be complete.
Oh, there you go. Who doesn't want a complete life? Well, I don't, yeah. But anyway, well, I felt I've got quite close to it at certain times. All right, look, so all of you, remember, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and try and look after that mental health. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.